Well, now we're going to look at theology, or theology of God, in 2 Corinthians. A couple of points to note here. First of all, Paul sees God as living and active within human history. God is also faithful and will not abandon his people to the point of destruction. Also, God is one who brings comfort. Now, this is a key idea in 2 Corinthians, the idea of bringing comfort in the midst of his peoples. A God who is a comforter, especially in the context of their tragic experiences. And this comfort, though, comes through their realization of Jesus' resurrection and their own. So the comfort that God provides is not necessarily an easing of tragic experiences. He doesn't diminish the intensity of the tragic experiences themselves, but that believers are comforted in the midst of those experiences with the knowledge that Jesus has been raised and that resurrection is an indication of their own future bodily resurrection. And also another major point in 2 Corinthians is the idea of God being a reconciler, and that God reconciled the world to himself through Christ. And so it's not just that God reconciled individuals to himself, the saved to himself, but the entire creation has been reconciled to God. Now, of course, just the fact that it has been reconciled to God does not mean that the problems of the world, the problems of the fall, have been eliminated. They nevertheless persist, but something has started, something has begun, a process is underway, and so Paul's understanding is that since God has done this thing, now we're going to start seeing the effects of that reconciliation play itself out in the world, first through believers and then ultimately through the rest of the world. This reconciliation includes not counting people's trespasses against them. So this idea of forgiveness as a part of the reconciliation, that trespasses that should be punished, trespasses that should lead to death, these things are not going to take place because of the reconciliation that has occurred. And this reconciliation happens through the death of Jesus. And so that sacrifice or that event, that faithfulness, is the means by which the reconciliation of God occurs. So, very briefly, these are some of the key points, key teachings about God that one finds in 2 Corinthians.